Imagine a world where coastal cities are underwater, where crop failure is the norm, and where extreme weather is a daily occurrence. Does it sound like a dystopian future? Or does it sound like the real consequences of climate change? Today, we're posing a burning question about the impacts of climate change and the potential reality that awaits us. We're talking about a world where adaptation and mitigation are not just buzzwords, but vital survival strategies. Let's delve into the facts and figures that paint this grim picture. The numbers don't lie, they reveal a chilling story about our planet's future. Let's face it, our world is changing. Data and statistics surrounding climate change are not just numbers, they are the grim narrative of a planet in crisis. Global temperatures are on the rise. The World Meteorological Organization reports that the past 5 years have been the warmest in recorded history. The average global temperature has risen by about 1.1 degrees Celsius since the Industrial Revolution, inching closer to the 1.5-degree threshold, beyond which scientists warn of irreversible damage to our planet. But it's not just about the heat. Rising temperatures have a domino effect. They're causing our glaciers to retreat and our ice caps to melt. The result? Rising sea levels. Over the past century, the global mean sea level has risen by 10 to 20 centimeters, and it's not slowing down. In fact, the rate of sea level rise has more than doubled from 1.4 millimeters per year in the last century to 3.6 millimeters per year since 1993. And let's not forget about extreme weather events. Storms are becoming more intense, rainfall is becoming more erratic, droughts are becoming more prolonged. The frequency of these events has increased nearly threefold in the last 4 decades. These numbers are more than just stats on a screen. They are a stark reminder of the reality we face. They represent the lived experiences of people across the globe. They tell the story of farmers grappling with unpredictable weather, of communities being washed away by rising sea levels, of coral reefs bleaching due to warmer oceans, and of countless species losing their habitats. These numbers tell a story of a world in flux, a world that urgently needs our attention. We must understand these numbers, for they are the signs of our times, the markers of our impact, and the roadmap to our future. These numbers are not just figures on a page, they represent the lived experiences of people and ecosystems around the world. Climate change is not a far-off problem. It's happening right now, and it's changing the world as we know it. The impacts of this global phenomenon are vast and varied, reaching every corner of our planet. Let's start by looking at the Arctic. The polar ice caps are melting at unprecedented rates, leading to rising sea levels. This not only threatens coastal communities worldwide, but also disturbs the habitats of countless species. Now let's travel to the other end of the globe, to Australia. Here, climate change exacerbates the risk and intensity of wildfires, devastating communities and wildlife alike. The smoke from these fires doesn't just affect the immediate area. It travels thousands of miles, impacting air quality and health on a global scale. Then there's the Sahel region of Africa, where the delicate balance between people, wildlife, and the environment is being disrupted by changing rainfall patterns. This has severe implications for agriculture, food security, and livelihoods. And it's not just our physical world that's changing. Our economies are also feeling the sting of climate change. From the increased costs of disaster response and recovery to the loss of productivity in heat-stricken areas, the economic toll is staggering. Our health, too, is under threat. Warmer temperatures are creating more hospitable environments for disease-carrying insects, leading to the spread of illnesses like dengue fever and malaria. Heat waves, too, carry a significant health risk, particularly for the young, the elderly, and those with pre-existing health conditions. These examples are just the tip of the melting iceberg. Climate change is impacting every aspect of our lives, from what we eat, where we live, and how we work. It's a complex, interconnected issue that requires a comprehensive global response. So as we continue to navigate these changing tides, we must remember that climate change is not an isolated issue. It's a global crisis that affects every aspect of our lives. We can't stop climate change overnight, but we can adapt to this new reality. Adapting to climate change isn't about admitting defeat. It's about recognizing the shifts in our world and finding ways to navigate this new landscape. It's about resilience, it's about preparedness, it's about ensuring that our communities, our ecosystems, and our economies can withstand the stresses of these changes. Let's talk about adaptation strategies. On the individual level, it could be as simple as changing our lifestyle habits, like choosing to walk instead of driving or planting trees in our backyards. But adaptation needs to happen on a larger scale too. Cities around the world are reimagining their infrastructure to cope with rising sea levels and extreme weather. They're building seawalls, developing flood-resistant urban landscapes, and even constructing floating neighborhoods. Agriculture is adapting too. Farmers are exploring drought-resistant crops, experimenting with new irrigation techniques, and shifting planting seasons to align with changing weather patterns. In the business world, corporations are starting to see the financial benefits of investing in green technologies and sustainable practices. It's not just about being environmentally friendly, it's about economic resilience in the face of a changing climate. And let's not forget the role of innovation. Scientists and engineers are continuously developing new technologies to help us adapt. From carbon capture and storage technologies to renewable energy sources, innovation is a key player in our adaptation strategy. But adaptation isn't just about reacting to changes, it's about anticipating them. It's about understanding the risks and vulnerabilities of our communities and putting measures in place to protect them. It's about creating a future where our societies are not just surviving, but thriving in the face of climate change. Adaptation is not a one-size-fits-all solution. What works for one community may not work for another, but what's important is that we start, that we take action, that we adapt. Adapting to climate change is not just about survival, it's about creating a sustainable future for all. While adaptation is crucial, mitigation is our best chance at preventing the worst impacts of climate change. As we turn the corner into a new era, one where the climate crisis is no longer a distant threat but a present reality, our strategies must also evolve. Mitigation is about more than just reducing greenhouse gas emissions. It's about a holistic approach that encompasses every facet of our society, from the energy we use to the food we eat. It's about transitioning to renewable energy sources like wind, solar, and hydroelectric power, and phasing out fossil fuels. It's about making our buildings and transportation systems more energy efficient, redesigning our cities to be more walkable and bikeable, and shifting to more sustainable forms of agriculture. But it's not just about what we do at the macro level. It's also about the choices we make as individuals and communities. Every time we choose to walk or bike instead of drive, every time we choose to eat a plant-based meal instead of one based on animal products, every time we choose to buy from a company that prioritizes sustainability, we're contributing to mitigation efforts. Governments too have a crucial role to play. They can enact policies that incentivize renewable energy and energy efficiency, promote sustainable agriculture, and discourage the use of fossil fuels. They can invest in research and development to advance green technologies and create jobs in the clean energy sector. And they can lead by example, demonstrating that a sustainable future is not only possible, but desirable. Mitigation is not a one-size-fits-all solution. What works in one community may not work in another, but that's the beauty of it. It's a flexible, adaptable approach that can be tailored to the unique needs and circumstances of each community. And of course, mitigation is not a silver bullet. It won't solve all our problems overnight. But it's a critical piece of the puzzle, one that will help us build a safer, more sustainable future for ourselves and for generations to come. Mitigation is not just about reducing emissions, it's about transforming our societies and economies for a sustainable future. The fight against climate change is not a solo battle. It's a collective effort that requires everyone's participation. It's not just about governments and corporations, it's about every single one of us taking a stand. You see, there are so many small but significant actions that we can take in our daily lives. From reducing our energy consumption by switching off lights and unplugging electronics, to making sustainable choices in our food and travel. Opting for public transport or cycling instead of driving, choosing locally sourced produce over imported goods, these are actions that can make a difference. And that's just the start. We can also use our voices to advocate for change, to call on our leaders and decision makers to implement policies that prioritize the planet. We can vote with our wallets, supporting businesses that are committed to sustainability. We can educate ourselves and others about the realities of climate change, breaking down the barriers of misunderstanding and misinformation. We can plant trees, clean up our neighborhoods, reduce, reuse, and recycle. But most importantly, we can inspire others to do the same. By showing that we care, that we're willing to make a change, we can motivate others to join us in this fight. This is not the end of the story, it's the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter where we all play a part in shaping a sustainable future. It's time to act. The future of our planet depends on it.